For more on this, let's bring in the president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Cliff May. Cliff, we're waiting on that paper, the proposal, if you will, from the Iranians. Would you expect that they are going to make enough concessions to satisfy the president?
No. They'll try to tag him along, string him along, call it what you will. They'll refuse to make the kinds of concessions that he is asking for. General Keane mentioned what some of those were: no nuclear weapons program, no intercontinental ballistic missiles to deliver nuclear weapons anywhere on Earth. I would also mention not supporting the various terrorist groups in the region, from Hezbollah to the Houthis to Hamas, all of those above, and to stop killing his own people, which is still going on.
Yeah, unbelievable. 32,000 Iranian deaths, according to the president. So
at least.
Yeah. So what happens then if the president doesn't like this proposal that's coming from Iran? Does he immediately order an attack? How do you see it unfolding? All right. We have apparently lost our connection with Clifford May, which is certainly unfortunate. He is OK. He's back with us, we understand. Cliff, my question to you is...
I'm sorry about that, Scott.
No, it's not your fault. It's the gremlins in the system. So how do you see it unfolding if the Iranian proposal doesn't meet the president's expectations?
The president is, of course, famously unpredictable. Nonetheless, I think we can posit some good possibilities. One is that he hits some very significant targets, and then he turns to Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and essentially says, now, are you interested in making a deal with me, or do you want me to hit you again? And he can. He has a very large bank of targets that he could hit. I would argue that he should certainly consider stripping the Islamic Republic of Iran of all its offensive capabilities and perhaps its defensive capabilities as well, because it doesn't need defensive capabilities if it is not threatening other nations. There are no nations that are trying to take away its territory or do anything else to it. The problem with this regime is that since 1979, it has vowed, as a matter of policy, death to America and death to Israel, and threatens its other neighbors. So there's huge military forces, as you're showing, in the region. The president has a lot of options. I would think he would want to ramp up the pressure and make clear to Ali Khamenei, who may not understand this, he is not bluffing.
The Iranians have always pretended that their nuclear program was for peaceful purposes only. They've got more oil than just about anybody else in the world, except maybe Saudi Arabia. They could certainly generate, all the power and electricity they need with that. It seems to put the lie to their claim that they need nuclear power.
They don't need nuclear power, and if they want nuclear power, they can have nuclear power. There are many ways, very simple, to have a civilian nuclear power program that doesn't have any risk of becoming a nuclear weapons program. They can't have enrichment of uranium. They can't have reprocessing of plutonium. There are things they can't have. Right now, after all these years working on, as they say, nuclear power, I say nuclear weapons, there's a tiny, like a 1% of the electricity in the country is generated by nuclear energy. But as you say, John, they have oil, they have plenty of energy without that. And if they want civilian nuclear power, that can be negotiated. That could be part of the deal. But they don't need enrichment, and they don't need things like Fordo, which the U.S. bombed. Fordo is, after all, a nuclear facility built inside a mountain. Yeah. Nobody cares if they have civilian nuclear facilities. If they're verifiable, and they can be inspected freely, which this regime is not allowed.
So are there targets yet to hit, given what we did to them the last time in Midnight Hammer?
Many targets. Yes, many targets. There are ICBM facilities. There are launches for missiles that they could do. There's the Navy that could be stripped away. I would also say the president has said help is on its way. The president has said, I'm not going to let you kill thousands of your people without consequences. Who has the most blood on their hands? Well, it's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and it's the Basiji, which are kind of like brown shirts, kind of Islamic thugs. You could hit the headquarters of both of those. Believe me, the target banks that the president has in front of him are very large. It's not a problem to find useful targets to hit. That would not mean civilian casualties. It would only be the regime itself and its various instruments that threaten its neighbors.
All right. Yeah, you feel bad for the people of Iran. They have suffered mightily ever since, well, the revolution. Clifford May, thank you.
Thank you, John.